Welcome everyone to Charts Focus 1, where we teach you how to work hard and trade smart. So today is a very rainy, gloomy, and quite cold day out here in California, but that did not stop us from getting a great day trade out of ticker symbol MRNA or Moderna. I will show you guys why we took this trade and how we traded it. Plus, I will show you guys the screenshots of the messages that I sent in the private CFO Discord for my CFO Swinger Watch members. All right, so number one, why did we take this name and why did we day trade this name, specifically this name? Well, we had to backtrack to SPY, the overall markets. So I told my CFO Swinger Watch members this last night on Sunday. So we're seeing a nice downtrend in the markets. We've been seeing a nice downtrend since the past week and a half. And if the market continues to move lower or just chops around and consolidates, we have to get a little bit conservative and defensive. And that usually equates to us looking at defensive sectors. So that led us to one of the major defensive sectors, healthcare. And so we start to look at healthcare names and specifically biotech names. And that landed us right on MRNA for today. And this is exactly what I said to my CFO Swinger Watch members live of why I was getting MRNA. So initially, MRNA was a high-risk swing trade, but obviously as the trade continued to work in our favor, it turned into a day trade. So at 9:47 a.m., I said MRNA high-risk swing 145 strike calls that expire this week on Friday at March 3rd. And I am focusing on healthcare / biotech names right now, as we have seen these type of names holding up a lot better. And this name looks great for an oversold bounce trade. And so that is the major reason why we decided to look at this name and trade this name, and overall just take a look at the healthcare sector, since we are following that conservative perspective with the overall market. And that also means that if you're going to go into a trade, you have to be ready to take quick profits when you see them, but obviously follow through with your own game plan and the initial game plan as well. So MRNA, how did we trade this one? Well, first of all, like I said in the screenshot that I just showed you guys, this name is very, very oversold. And I don't even need to look at the RSI indicator to tell me that's oversold. Number one, we have been downtrending for the past couple of months, right? Since December of last year, after we made this high point, this pivot high point at $217.25. Okay, so 217.25 is our first pivot high point. And then we created another second pivot high point at 207.51, $207.51. And from that point forward, we just continue to pile drive lower, and we haven't stopped going lower. And then earnings added more pain to that downtrend, as we decided to close below the daily 200 SMA, which is a crucial area of support on the earnings reaction day. And so this added more fuel to the fire of pain that investors in this name are feeling right now. And as we start to move lower, and we did move lower today at market open, it looked very, very much like the price was very, very oversold. And so I took a quick peek at the RSI, and we ended up today at 23.55, which is very, very oversold. As you guys already know, or should know, that the RSI, when its value is below or at 30, that usually indicates that the price is oversold. And so this told me that I have to look at the previous price levels or the area that we are in. And I noticed that this 137.50 level was a huge level in the past as a level of support, specifically in this area back in early 2022. And so I took a bet that if we came back down to 137.50, we would get a bounce. And just recently as well, in mid-November and early November, we got a huge bounce at 137.50 and in the previous times as well, right? And so this level has been used as a major level of support and as level of resistances in different periods of the data points that we see here on the daily time frame. And so this obviously allowed me to go to the 15-minute time frame to see how the intraday price was looking. And what I saw here was absolutely amazing because it was showing exactly what I wanted to see. So after we retested 137.50 and we had an incredible bounce on the intraday time frame here, we started to see a slowdown of the current sell-off that we saw on the daily time frame. How do we know this? Well, the price began to curve as we neared this critical level and area of support around 137.50. And as we were doing that, we were making a very, very tight price action and trend for most of the day after retesting 137.50, which allowed us to form this descending level of resistance trend line. And so if you guys remember, I sent in the message to enter in to our trade at 9:47 a.m. And so that means we got in on this 15-minute candlestick. And personally for me, I don't know for my CFO Swinger Watch members, I got in right as the price was around 138.47. That's what I remember, as the price was oscillating up and down, moving a couple cents each time. And right as I entered in, the next 15-minute candlestick started to form, and we absolutely just blasted out of this descending level of resistance. And I knew that we had an intraday uptrend in our hands. And so as the trade developed and was working in our favor, we started to gain some good percentage return on our trade. So we went from 10% to 15% plus, and then to over 20%. And as we were looking at that 20% plus gain on the day so far, I noticed that we had a huge level at 140. This is a huge intraday level. This is a level that you will most likely not see on the daily time frame. And I have to make that distinction because, again, there is a different level of significance when you're day trading and when you're swing trading from different time frames. So obviously on the intraday time frame, this 140 was very, very critical to the current area that we're watching at, okay? But at the same time, on the daily time frame, there really is no reason to be looking at 140 on the daily time frame unless you're looking to swing and you see in the past, into last year or even last year, this 140 level has been a level that the price has reacted off of. And you can expand your perspective for the longer term perspective, right? But again, on the daily time frame and the 15-minute time frame, there is a very different level of significance for this 140 level. And so I told my CFO Swinger Watch members live that if you want to see more gains on this name, we need to see a retest of 140 and then a complete blowout over 140 so that we can see an injection of premium into our very far out the money strike contracts. And for such a short dated contract, it would need a very volatile reaction over 140. And guess what? As we were retesting 140, the 50 SMA, which is on the 15-minute time frame here, this dark blue line, was starting to loom over the price. And I have seen this happen multiple times when we decide to have a brief uptrend on the intraday time frame. We tend to have this magnetized reaction towards the 50 SMA on the 15-minute time frame. So I told my CFO Swinger Watch members that, okay, look, here's the deal. You guys can take profits when it's over 20% for our position so far right now, or we can wait until we see a retest of the actual 50 SMA on the 15-minute time frame, because I'm going to expect a rejection once we retest this 50 SMA. And look, we haven't retested this SMA for quite some time on the 15-minute time frame. And so far, we are very oversold on most time frames, especially on the bigger time frames, like we saw on the daily time frame. And for us to move impulsively higher with a very volatile reaction to the upside, it would be great to see a retest of the 50 SMA on the 15-minute time frame, and that will be my exit. And so as the trade continued to progress, we eventually got over 30% in gains for that trade. And then ultimately at 11:02 a.m., I saw MRNA ticking up higher and bidding up higher until we retested the 50 SMA, which has now curled down to around 140.50. And so I remember getting out right as the underlying share price ticked higher to 140.47. And that allowed us to gain 38% plus as a day trade. Remember, initially it was a swing trade, but due to the market conditions that we were seeing of the intraday volatility, of the ups and downs that we've been getting since last week, we assumed that we had to get out on this trade, because first of all, 38% plus on a day trade is amazing, absolutely amazing. So you guys should never ever beat yourself up for a gain like this, right? Even 10 to 20% is amazing for a day trade. So we got out around 140.50. And obviously, in hindsight, I could have held a little bit longer because we had this slight impulsive reaction to retesting the 50 SMA, and then we jumped a little bit higher and hit a new high of the day at 140.89. But guess what? Again, in hindsight, I am glad that I got out, because look what happened. After we retested the 50 SMA on the 15-minute time frame for the first time in what seems like forever, we continued to move lower, and we failed to hold above the 10 and the 21 SMA on the 15-minute time frame. And that usually tells me that the bullish momentum is over. And the bulls that were in this trade here are completely out, just like how I was out once we retested that 140.50 area and this 50 SMA on the 15-minute time frame. So I'm going to continue to watch out for MRNA for any similar trades like we did today, because again, on the daily time frame, we are very much oversold. And possibly in the future, I may just open up a new swing position once we're able to move over and stay over 140, which is now a huge significant level when we're looking at when we're looking at it on the daily time frame, basically, right? And again, there is that clear difference between the daily and the 15-minute time frames. All right, so that is it for this video. If you liked what you heard, please leave a thumbs up down below. And if you're new here, check out the description box below for all the links that you will need to see and basically click on if you want to figure out more on what we do. Now, you can also gain access to the current swing trades that we have right now by subscribing to the CFO Swinger Watch newsletter and gaining access to the private CFO Discord. Also, make sure you guys check out the other live stream recap videos to continue your learning and trading. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all on another video.